to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
We are in the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington, where today more than 64,000 have gathered to find the answer to one basic question. Who will quarterback the Cleveland Browns? Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Stone, along with Reggie Rucker. Reg, what's the answer? Who's going to quarterback?
Bernie Kosar will get the start with maybe a dramatic relief appearance by Gary Danielson. For Seattle, it will be the consistently inconsistent Dave Krieg at quarterback. Which Krieg will it be?
For the Cleveland Browns, they want to win today's ballgame. If they keep winning, nobody can catch them, in spite of the fact that Cincinnati has just buried the Dallas Cowboys. While for Seattle, they have got to win every game, Reg.
Seattle, following Denver and L.A. in the Western Division, needs help from either of those two teams, but they must, as Phil said, win the 3 remaining games. This ought to be some kind of contest today, Phil.
Mack Barr to kick it away from the Browns. The Seattle Seahawks will have first possession. Paul Scansey and Randall Morris, number 43, standing at their own end zone. Fred Silva lets the whistle sound, and Barr's sidewinding kick comes to Morris at the 3-yard line. Tipped up at the 17. Curtis Weathers on the tackle. So Dave Krieg will be joined offensively. Warner, David Hughes, the fullback, is back from his injured neck. Steve Largent, the wide receivers, joined by Darrell Turner. The tight end, Dan Ross, his first start. The offensive line, Millard, Bailey, Blair Bush. He will have his hands full today with Bob Golick, Pratt, and Bob Kreider. Following Ed Bailey and Brian Millard, he is knocked off his feet by Carl Hairston, 10th year out of Maryland Eastern Shore. The Browns defense, oh, it's a good one. Ranked 8th in the National Football League. Good front 3, Camp, Golick, and Carl Hairston. The linebackers, well, you hear it every week around the lakefront, the best in all of football. Keep your eyes on number 51, Eddie Johnson. Incidentally, Tom Cousineau, a late pull. He is out with a back spasm.
Scotty Nicholas will take his place.
Second down in 9, Seattle at their own 18. That is Largent coming right at you. Out of the I formation, the deep back, Curt Warner. Warner with over 900 yards, needs 59 today to crash through the 1,000-yard plateau.
Watch number 56, Chip Banks, stacking the blocker up. That's one of the problems with the Seattle rushing attack. They haven't been able to clear a path for Curt Warner to get through those holes, and they're hoping that David Hughes' return today, Phil, will give them that good lead blocking that they've been looking for.
Third down and 6 from the 22-yard line, 13:36 to play first quarter. From the shotgun, Krieg. It is caught by Largent at the 29-yard line.
I just don't believe there has been any receiver who has so masterfully accomplished route running as Steve Largent does right here. Watch him protect the football, get down with it, make the catch just off of the turf. He's quite a player, number 80.
There you see Largent has now joined the former St. Louis Cardinals speedster Mel Gray. 121 consecutive games in which Largent has caught a pass. From the I formation, first down from the 30-yard line. Again, Largent coming at you. And the give to the tailback right up the middle. It is Curt Warner. Eddie Johnson on the tackle.
Marty Schottenheimer is at a loss to explain why the Browns gave up so much yardage a week ago against the New York Giants when they had only given up, for instance, 13 points in 2 games the previous 2 weeks. And those things happen. Morris had a fine rushing day against the Browns last week, and here's one of the premier runners in pro football. You would expect that the Seahawks are desperately trying to get him some running room.
Tom Cousineau has just checked into the ball game. Scotty Nicholas is out. Flags will fly. Free down for the Seahawks, and heading through the left side is Curt Warner. And he is across the 36 near the 37-yard line. Flag, I believe, will be encroachment against the Browns. Now the Seattle Seahawks, Reggie, you go back a year ago without Curt Warner.
Defense, linebacker, right side, left side, still be second down, 5 yards.
Give the Hawks the down again in 5 yards. You talk about Seattle. Here's a club without Curt Warner a year ago, 14-2. Take a look at what they're doing this year in that giveaway takeaway area.
That's one of the reasons why they don't have the record that they had a year ago. Last year they were plus 24, the best in the league. This year, takeaway giveaway, they are plus 3.
Second down and 3 from the 37. Warner. He won't turn the corner as the Browns wrestle him out at the 36-yard line. Larry Brazil leading the charge, 7th year out of Southern Cal. Well, what pursuit by these Brown backers.
Well, if you don't get into the hole immediately against the Cleveland Browns with the skill that they have at linebacker and their safeties, Al Gross, watch number 27 come up on the left side of your screen. Warner trying to get outside. Watch Gross, 27 and 47 Brazil. All of those people, along with Matthews, are shutting down that outside, and they contain very well.
Third down and 3, second time this afternoon that the Hawks have been in a third down situation. They converted their first opportunity. Here come the Browns. Safety blitz, and Krieg unloads. It's complete. Paul Scansey, who had a big day a week ago against Kansas City, has another Seahawks first down at the 45-yard line.
Remember, we talked about the game plan and what Seattle needs to do. For Seattle, it's Dave Krieg maintaining a high percentage of completions. And in order to do that, he must hit that third down and obvious passing situation. Take a look at Dave Krieg's pass completion percentage. And those wins, 7 wins, he's 64%. And look at his losses.
Just a tad over 30%. First and 10 from the 45-yard line. Krieg wants to put it up again. Screen. Warner's got it. And he is bounced out of bounds by Chip Banks short of the midfield stripe.
Talking about two very fine nose tackles in this game. Seattle has Joe Nash, and of course Cleveland has Bob Golick. And interestingly enough, Bob Golick has said on occasion that playing nose tackle in the National Football League is a lot like being a fire hydrant at a dog show. That's number 79, Bob Golick, having a fine year.
Second down and 5. The ball spotted just short of the midfield. The ball spotted just short of the midfield line. Warner, Hughes to the setbacks. It is Warner. Oh, is he nailed? He crosses that wide stripe, designating the 50-yard line, but he is polished by Eddie Johnson.
Well, it was Johnson who made the hit, but it was Golick that pushed that play into the backfield, made Warner get around that pile, and Eddie Johnson, doing what he does best, hit people.
Chicago struggling all day long, finally beat Indianapolis. New England over Detroit 23-6. The Lions' problems continue on the road. And take a look at that unbelievable at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. And the Bengals' playoff hope still very much alive. Krieg on 3rd and 4. He's going for it all. Intended for Darrell Turner. And a ball just overthrown. Larry Brazil with the coverage.
The Seahawks want it. We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's go to NFL 85.
Guys, it's been a 5-touchdown pass day for Dan Marino. This is the most recent one to Dan Johnson. And now, after the 61-yard score, the Dolphins lead at Green Bay 34-24, less than 2 minutes to play. Looks like 3 teams will be 10-4 in the AFC East.
And Bob, I believe that is touchdown pass number 4 today for Dan Marino. Punting situation for the Hawks, almost blocked. Browns will let it bounce. Oh, this is going to be an outstanding punt by Dave Finzer. 41 yards out of bounds inside the 9-yard line. Reg, if there's a key for the Browns to win this ball game today, what would it be? And conversely for Seattle?
Well, for Cleveland, it's first down rushing efficiency. With Kosar at quarterback, the Browns don't have the complete utilization of their playbook as they do with Danielson at quarterback. So in order to take the third down problems away from Kosar, they need 4 yards or more on first down rushing. We'll get back to Seattle in a moment.
For Kosar and the Browns offense, their first look at the ball this afternoon. In motion is Brennan. The give through the right side, Kevin Mack. He follows Dan Fike through the right side.
Talking about the keys for Seattle, and we alluded to it briefly, Krieg maintaining continuity with a high completion percentage, and you saw him do it the last third down situation, completing the pass to Scansey. For Seattle, that is an imperative. Good pickup on first down here by Mack, and this gives the Browns that kind of continuity that they have to have as a rushing football team.
Second down and 5 from the 14. Cleveland with a double tight end formation. Newsome and Tucker. The give right up the gut. It is Kevin Mack again as he bangs his way across the 18 near the 19. Browns love to run inside the tackles, and there's a good reason for that. When you've got guys like Byner and Mack running the football, they love to run straight ahead. The receivers, Weathers, Brian Brennan, the tight end, the Wizard. And here's the guys they love to run behind.
Well, Ricky Bolden particularly, they have to find a spot for him, and they are going to. And you take that offensive line, it's big, it's strong, it's young, and it's aggressive, and they are an outstanding group.
You talk about matchups. There are good ones in every football game every Sunday. Today we have one of the very best. Mike Babb, the Cleveland center, versus Joe Nash. He has 8.5 sacks this year at nose guard. Kosar rolling left, throws to Newsome, and he overthrows Ozzie at the 33-yard line. Terrific coverage on the play by Michael Jackson, the outside linebacker on the right side. This Seattle Seahawks defensive front line, I'll tell you what, they get after a quarterback. They just flat out attack opposing QBs.
Probably the best threesome in the league as a three-man rushing line.
Linebacking core, Keith Butler, Michael Jackson. Boy, they shore up the right side of that linebacking core. And the defensive backs, Taylor Brown, Paul Moyer. You wonder, where is Kenny Easley? He is out with a severely sprained left ankle. He will not play today. Kevin Mack. Oh, he's hit at the line of scrimmage. And driven back at the 20-yard line by Jacob Green.
The last two plays are a perfect illustration why Marty Schottenheimer really wants to run the football, particularly on first down. When he doesn't pick up anything on first down, now he's faced with this situation in third down. Nash really clogs up the hole. Number 72. He has 8.5 sacks. As Phil told you, that's a phenomenal number of sacks for a nose tackle.
Third down and 8. This is a situation the Browns can ill afford to get in very often today. You're throwing into the strength of this Seattle defensive secondary. Kosar, he'll not even unload the ball. Tremendous pressure by the Hawks defense.
Now, Joe Nash is a nose tackle who at 250 pounds is very light. He is not the prototypical nose guard. There he is on the left side. Watch him apply the pressure here, but I think it's going to be number 68, Randy Edwards, who makes the sack, but it's actually Nash that makes Kosar commit early.
Jeff Gossett standing in the shadows of his own goalposts, and he gets it all. Oh, my. Scansey retreating at the 29. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A 57-yard punt and a 15-yard return. An incredible clip that was not called.
Rusty Tillman coaches the special teams of the Seattle Seahawks, who are year in and year out the finest outfit in the business. Now the Browns, Billy Cowher, who's coaching the Browns offensive or special teams, is a very good one too. But now watch the left side here. You're going to see a very, very close to being a clip block on Eddie Johnson, and Scansey gets outside for the big return.
The Hawks with their second possession of the afternoon at their own 44-yard line out of the I formation. Krieg play action, fakes to Warner, now unloads. Steve Largent, his second catch of the day, and it's a big one to the Cleveland Browns. 31-yard line before Don Rogers knocks him down.
to run a play-action pass like this is after a big punt return. Here's Krieg. We were wondering who would show up. Well, apparently, Mr. Krieg is right on target with his throws, as Largent is always open.
It is first down at the Cleveland 31-yard line. Krieg, the give is to David Hughes, and he is knocked off his feet the moment he gets the football by Bob Goling. We'd like to welcome all of you who are watching that game between the Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers. I'm Phil Stone along with Reggie Rucker. 6:22 to play in the first period from the Kingdome in Seattle, and we are scoreless.
Keep the crowd noise out of this game by not allowing the Seahawks to get out in front of you. Now, if the Seahawks get in front of you and this crowd gets into this football game, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Cleveland Browns.
Second down in 10, Seattle from the 31. Krieg wants to unload. He's got time. Now he puts it up to Warner, right over the top of Clay Matthews and out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Boy, Matthews and Warner were really going at it, Reg.
Now the Browns feel that number 57, Clay Matthews, is their best man out of the backfield coverer. There he is. Now Warner can't get away from Matthews, but Krieg has too much time, and he lost the ball right over Matthews' head. Fine touch by Dave Krieg.
A first down. Krieg and the Hawks have converted to third down situations when they have needed them. From the 19-yard line with 5:51 to play in the first period. Largent goes wide to the left. He's at the top of your screen. Krieg play action looking right. Throws right. It is complete to Mike Tice. And he is inside the 15-yard line and down at the 13. Tice is fifth year out of Maryland, just coming off a severely broken ankle that he sustained, Reggie, against the Atlanta Falcons.
Mike Tice is a big tight end, about 6 feet 7 inches tall, 250 pounds, from Maryland, where he was a quarterback. Charlie Young out this ball game, injured last week. Tice is more of a blocker, more of a fellow that will help with the inside attack, but when they need a throw to him, he's an excellent target at 6 feet 7 inches tall.
Krieg, his numbers thus far on the afternoon, he has only fired one miscue. He has been on his game. Second down in 4. The give to the tailback, Curt Warner. Ran right out of the tackle by Chip Banks, and oh, is Chip Banks angry as he whips his helmet off. Flag is down at the 11-yard line.
There's a ground level shot of Curt Warner coming right at you. This is what it looks like if you're Chip Banks. He's been held right there. We can't see the number, but it's probably Tice, number 86.
The penalty is against the Seahawks. So take it back outside the 22, near the 23.
That's why the strong side linebacker's job is so difficult in pro football, because unlike the weak side linebacker, the strong side linebacker, Chip Banks in this instance, has a man over him, and he must always deal with somebody blocking him, and you have to be able to get rid of blockers with your hands. That's Chuck Knox with the clipboard in his hand.
Second down in 14 now from the 23. 5 minutes and 1 second to play. Daryl Turner goes wide to the left. Krieg looking right. He's got Largent wide open. Now he goes back to the left side. A flag is down, and Warner is out of bounds at the 13-yard line. And while they straighten it out, let's go to Bob Costas for this update. Bob?
Phil, one of the most incredible outcomes today in Cincinnati. The Bengals clobbered Dallas 50-24. 3 touchdown passes for Boomer Esiason. This beauty covered 58 yards to Chris Collinsworth in the third quarter. Everybody celebrates, including these dignified fans. Phil?
That's beautiful, Bob. Well, they had right to celebrate. Who would have ever believed a 50-24 tromping of the Cowboys, Reg?
Well, the Central Division has been maligned all year by critics around the National Football League, saying how inept it is. That was David Hughes, number 46, that got the holding call.
Well, do you agree with those comments about the Central Division?
Oh, I definitely do not. As a graduate of the Central Division of the American Football Conference, I take a lot of pride in having played in that division. And you can look at 2 successive weekends, Cleveland beating New York in New York, and now Cincinnati beating Dallas, and they're supposed to be 2 of the premier teams in the league.
Second down in 24. Daryl Turner. Oh, that ball was there. And the fans think it was there also.
Now this young man, number 81, Daryl Turner, has great speed. He simply outruns most of the people that cover him. He has 10 touchdowns, but the fans in Seattle are beginning to boo him almost weekly because he makes no attempt or no adjustment on the ball in flight. And that right now is one of the things that Darrell Turner is suffering through in 1985. As you can see, he has 28 catches for 10 touchdowns. Any starting receiver in the National Football League in Week 14 should have more than 28 receptions.
Third down in 24 now from the 33-yard line. Krieg looking right. He's going right, looking for Largent on the look in. It is almost intercepted by the Browns. Al Gross had it in his hands, and the collision with Largent popped it loose. It'll be fourth down for the Hawks.
Now, 1 week ago, Largent burned the Kansas City Chiefs with this kind of coverage, but now he's facing a guy who plays very good coverage. Hanford Dixon, number 29, simply beautiful coverage by Dixon on Largent.
Gross had the football and could not hold on. Norm Johnson is on to attempt a field goal. This one will come from 51 yards away. He is 1 of 9 from outside the 40. Plenty of distance. That thing would have been good from 57, 58 yards away.
AFC Pro Bowler a year ago, having just a disastrous season this year, comes through at this point from a long way away. I wouldn't want to be in their position at this point in time, having to win 3 games against very stiff opposition. But the Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, have to win also, Phil, because if they come down to a tie-breaking situation with the Cincinnati Bengals, the Browns would lose by virtue of having the second best record amongst the 3 teams in the division.
Keep in mind, Cincinnati already victorious today. They crushed the Cowboys 50-24. Pittsburgh playing San Diego tonight in San Diego. And at the Mile High City, it is the Broncos out in front early over the Raiders 7-0. We're set to go. Norm Johnson, who has just given the Hawks a 3-0 lead, will boot it away. It'll be Glenn Young at the 3-yard line. Glenn Young is bounced out of bounds by the last man who had a shot at him, Terry Jackson, a 62-yard return.
Glenn Young, acquired on waivers from the Philadelphia Eagles a year ago. Marty Schottenheimer saw this very quality in Glenn Young. Number 84, heading out the right side. He's big, he's about 205 pounds, has excellent speed, and he has been doing this all year long. Finally, he gets a big one.
Oh, the Browns with superb field position now at the Seahawks 35-yard line. In motion is Langhorne. That is Byner with the football, and he has penetrated at the Seattle 32-yard line. Let's go to Bob Costas for this update. Bobby?
Phil, as you mentioned, the early lead at Mile High Stadium belongs to the Broncos. John Elway to James Wright with this catch from 5 yards. The extra point good. And in the battle for first place in the AFC West, it's the Broncos 7, the Raiders nothing early in the first.
Bill Stone along with Reggie Rucker, 3:57 to play. First period from the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington. 3-0 Seahawks. Play action. Kosar wants to go for it all. Instead, he tried to hit Brian Brennan at the 16-yard line and missed him. Terry Taylor, outstanding coverage.
Well, while Kosar was trying to hit Brian Brennan, Jacob Green was hitting Bernie Kosar. Let's look at the Browns' record with their various quarterbacks. 4-2 with Danielson as the starting QB and 3-4 with Bernie Kosar. The Browns really had no intention of playing Kosar as much as they've had to play him this year. It's only because that man there, Gary Danielson, has been injured.
A chronically dislocating right shoulder. Danielson likely won't play today. Kosar, the blitz is on. He completes the short pass over the middle to Ozzie. Knocked off his feet by John Harris.
Excuse me, Phil. In this football game today, you really have two of the greatest pure pass catchers that have ever played this game. Largent on the Seattle side and number 82, Ozzie Newsome on the Cleveland side. They are excellent possessors of the football, and Newsome, knowing exactly where the first down yardage was, picked it up for Cleveland.
The Seattle Seahawks defense has not allowed a touchdown to its opponents in 3 of its last 5 games. This is a stingy defensive unit. Mack tries to go left, but the Hawks' lateral pursuit is outstanding. Michael Jackson and John Harris run him out. Reggie, as a player, is that something you are consciously aware of, the fact that this defense has not allowed a touchdown to 3 of its last 5 opponents?
Players don't really get into that as much as I think the media does. I don't think players really pay attention to statistics. I think players concentrate on the opponent and the man across the line of scrimmage from him and being able to win their individual battles. They allow the other things to take care of themselves.
2nd down and 6 from the 21. 3 minutes to play in the first period. Brennan in motion. Pitch right side. That is Ernest Byner. Tries to turn it upfield. Does so. Ran right out of the grasp of Bruce Schultz and right into Freddie Young.
There's a rags to riches story. Fred Young, number 50 for the Seahawks. Last year, the AFC Special Teams Pro Bowler nominee. And now he has to play regularly, Chuck Knox says. And look at him, track down number 44, Ernest Byner. Freddie Young, an outstanding young player.
You talk about Freddie Young. Do you realize you talked about his special team duties? He's the first AFC player ever selected to the Pro Bowl team strictly as a special teams player. Outstanding performer. That's number 50 we're talking about. And now Kosar doesn't like something he sees from that Seattle Seahawks defensive unit.
And they haven't gotten that kind of play this year. And so far, they're looking for offense.
First down and 10 Cleveland from the Hawks' 14-yard line. 2:16 to play first period. It's Seattle 3, Cleveland nothing. Kosar, the pitch to the near side. Kevin Mack will try and turn the corner. He has got running room to the 5-yard line and knocked out there. Boy, did he take Terry Taylor out.
Kevin Mack possesses speed and power. Coming right at you now. Watch number 34 as he turns inside. Now watch the explosion right here. Coming now right at Dave Brown. He breaks that tackle and knocks Terry Taylor out of the way. Still going, still fighting for yardage. Boy, if he isn't the American Football Conference Rookie of the Year, your name isn't Phil Stone.
Yeah, you're right. Mack had 958 yards coming into the ball game. He already has carried the ball 5 times today for 25 yards. Now needing only 17 yards to go over 1,000 yards. He has already broken Jimmy Brown's rookie season rushing record. Oh, his Byner stacked up. Jeff Bryant leading the charge. Well, we have 2:02 to play in the first period here at the Kingdome. Several finals already in the books. Chicago over Indianapolis 17-10. New England. Boy, Detroit's problems continue on the road. Washington over Philadelphia by 5. Green Bay and Miami had one going before Marino and company. Marino throws for 5. The Jets bury Buffalo 27-7. And there's the shocker of the day. Cincinnati doing a number on Tom Landry's boys. That certainly changes the complexion of this game dramatically. Byner again tries to take it in off Mike Babb and Dan Fike. But Joe Nash knocks him down.
And the Seahawks and Chuck Knox have the Browns scouted very well down here. They're really jamming up the point of attack inside the tackles. And that gentleman there, number 9, is Matt Barr. He has hit 34 of 34 inside the 30-yard line, so you might call this automatic.
Clock continuing to run. We are now at the 52nd mark of the first period. This field goal will come from 22, possibly 23 yards away.
They've allowed the 30-second clock to expire.
And now they'll back it up 5 more to lay a
Number
game against
9.
the Browns.
Well, there are two reasons why they would do this. One is they didn't want to take another timeout at this point in the football game. And two, Matt Barr may feel comfortable a little bit further back.
Now, we touched on it earlier in the ball game about the crowd factor here at the Kingdome. There's no question this is the noisiest stadium in all of pro football. Earlier on NFL 85, you heard Larry King and Bob Costas discussing the crowd problems. Case in point, last Monday night at the Orange Bowl. 27 yards away, Matt Barr is perfect, making 35 out of 35 from inside the 30-yard line. Clock stops with 28 seconds to play in the first period. We are deadlocked at the Kingdome.
Clarify the playoff tie-breaking situation that we alluded to a moment ago. If three teams tied in the AFC Central, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, Cincinnati would go by virtue of the best record among the three teams. Any other scenario, Cleveland wins the Central Division.
All right. Matt Barr to boot it away. A sidewinder. Randall Morris about a yard deep, but he'll take it down on a knee. Dave Krieg and company will go from their own 20-yard line. Denver continuing to lead the Raiders 7-0 on the 5-yard pass by Elway. The Giants over Houston at the Astrodome 14-0. Joe Morris a couple of touchdown runs already, and they aren't even out of the first period yet. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 6-0 on a couple of field goals by Jan Stenerud. Of course, if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, you got to be pulling for the Raiders. And right now, the Raiders are losing to Denver. That's Hughes. He'll try the left side. He busts it out to the 24-yard line, and he is knocked off his feet by Tom Cousineau.
The Browns have four extraordinary linebackers, and they all have a strength. Cousineau's strength is being able to run down the line of scrimmage and tackle players, which you see him doing here, and he simply does that very, very well.
We have reached the end of the first period of play. When we come back, the Hawks will have the football. We are deadlocked. The all-time great offensive first periods of play, but very consistent play on both clubs' part, Reg.
And the Browns have done a very significant thing in the first quarter. They have prevented the Seahawks from getting out in front and getting this crowd involved, and that has an intimidating quality if you're the visiting team.
And the Browns know about it. They have been into this dome before. And have not fared well here. Second down and 5 from the 25 as we begin the second period of play. Kurt Warner will try the right side. Tries to turn the corner behind Robert Pratt and Bob Kreider. A little extracurricular activity going on. A flag flies. Bob Golick and Kreider right in the middle of the pack.
Gee, look at the size of Kreider. Is he big or what? And he's got his helmet off.
Well, he's 6'4", 282 out, 8th year out of Alabama.
When they start, look at his arms. All right, when they start, imagine if that thing hit you, Phil. You'd be in trouble. And he's got a
personal foul. Offense 76. 98 after the play. It'll be third down.
On the right side, number 96 is Camp, and 78 is Kreider. Those are two big men going at each other. Kreider loses his helmet, which isn't a very wise thing to do.
Third down and 3 now from the 27-yard line.
Here's where the Seahawks have really found a jewel in Paul Scansey, number 82, throwing to him on those short possession-type passes.
4 wide receivers for Seattle. Krieg on a little crossing pattern. Did it bounce into Scansey or did he receive it? Hold everything. They're calling it a catch at the 34-yard line. A first down for the Seahawks. Boy.
Let's see what you think. You be the judge right here. I think it's an outstanding catch by number 82, Paul Scansey, whom they say has become a clone of Steve Largent. They say wherever you see Largent, not very far behind is Paul Scansey, and he even looked like Largent making that catch, assuming some of the same mannerisms.
From the 34-yard line, Krieg over 3,000 yards now. 3,004 yards here in 1985. He's 7 of 10 this afternoon. And he'll put it up again. There's the release near side. Kurt Warner's got it. Takes it back inside, crosses the 39-yard line, out near the 40, knocked off his feet by Don Rogers and Tom Cousineau.
You know, I talked to Chick Harris, offensive backfield coach for the Seattle Seahawks, and he said that very play is so difficult to. That's Chick Harris right there giving signals. He said, we want to use Warner with that play a lot more than we have been, but that's a very difficult pass to throw. Some people think it's an easy pass to throw, but it takes so much coordination for the quarterback to get that ball into Warner's hands while he is running upfield. They did it that time. A good pickup.
Second down and 4 now from the 40-yard line. There goes the man Reggie was speaking of, Steve Largent. Warner, bang at the line of scrimmage. Eddie Johnson. Second time Johnson has met Warner at the line. Boy, Curt getting up very slowly.
I want to tell you, we have a good vantage point right now. We're just at about the 50-yard line, and there is some hitting going on. The grunts and the groans, and these fellows are really getting into it because, in all actuality, this is the equivalent of a playoff game for both teams. There is no tomorrow. Maybe the Cleveland Browns can afford a loss. I'm sure they're not thinking that way, but for Seattle, the future is now.
Third down and 4 from the 40-yard line. From the shotgun, the Hawks 2 of 4 in third down situations here in the ball game. Pass caught, Scansey. Chris Rockins, the strong safety, missed the tackle, came to the sidelines and threw his helmet on the field.
If you're going to be able to do this on third down, obvious passing situations against the nickel defense, you might as well pack up your luggage and go home. You can't win. The Browns have to shut that play down. Chris Rockins cannot afford to let Scansey beat him time after time after time in those pass catch situations.
The Hawks have now converted 3 out of 5 third down situations. Scansey has been on the receiving end of all 3 third down passes. Greg looks left, now goes right over the middle. It is complete at the 33-yard line. Dan Ross, his first catch of the day. He is buried by Eddie Johnson.
No, we were talking about the inconsistencies of Dave Krieg, but we also must point out that in this Western Division of the AFC, there are some great pass rushing teams. Now, the Cleveland Browns aren't a great pass rushing team, and Dave Krieg is having an opportunity to look at his first receiver. He's not open, come back to the secondary receiver. The Browns need more pressure.
Second down and 4. Browns showing blitz. And now they drop. It is David Hughes to the right side. He follows Robert Pratt. He went right off Blair Bush's right hip.
Let's take a look and see what Bob Golick is doing in the middle of that line. There he is, number 79. Normally they get a double team block on a nose tackle. He stands up Bush, clogs up the hole, and keeps David Hughes to a minimum gain.
Hughes suffered a neck injury in week number 8 versus the Jets, played the following week against the Raiders, and then went on the injured list. It was his first injury in over 4.5 years. He is not used to being hurt. He is back today. Warner. Hit at the line of scrimmage by Keith Baldwin, and finally taken out by Tom Cousineau. Again, it is Warner getting up very, very slowly.
That is Marty Schottenheimer.
Warner had 2 games this year, Reggie, back-to-back games in which his longest run was 4 yards. That's amazing. But he has not had the big fullback leading the way this year. Craig wants to put it up on second down and 10. Hughes has it, bobbles it, held on to the football, and is taken out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Al Gross.
Apparently there's a flag somewhere. There's some discussion going on. No, there isn't.
So it is third down and 5.
That's such a ace in the hole kind of play. where you can just toss the ball out to the back while you're looking downfield, nothing down there, then you get the ball to somebody, you salvage what might be a bad play, and you put yourself in a 3rd and 5 passing down, and that's not too bad.
3rd and 5 from the 21. Here come the Browns, and Krieg is running for his life.
Oh, wow. Here's the blitz, number 22 is Felix Wright chasing down Dave Krieg. I don't know how he gets this ball off, but he gets something on it. And Brazil, as everybody else has found out over the years, you just can't cover Steve Largent. Look at the good move and the good fake. Now watch him come right back to the quarterback. Young players out there, this is the way you do it. You run back to the football. It can't be done any better than that. They have a first down inside the 5.
A 17-yard pickup to the 4-yard line. Largent on the day. 3 catches for 50 yards. Play action. Krieg puts it up. Oh, look at this. A walk in the park for Dan Ross.
Played 2 years in the USFL after being All-Pro for the Cincinnati Bengals. He says he's played too many football games this year. He's lost about 15 pounds, but Dan Ross, after having a big game a week ago against Kansas City, and with the injury to Charlie Young, finally surfaces and is the starter here at tight end, catching this touchdown pass, his 2nd in 2 weeks. Dan Ross, he is an outstanding acquisition by the Seattle Seahawks.
Johnson, who has only missed 1 point after this year. He is 33 of 34. And now you can make it 34 of 35. Hold everything. A flag is down.
And prediction had better be careful because he can get thrown out of the football game arguing with Fred Silver.
Now let's listen to what Freddie has to say.
Running into the kicker after a successful try, 5 yards on the ensuing kickoff.
All right, Fred, we appreciate that. 9:38 to play in the first half. And the Seattle Seahawks own the game's first touchdown.
Dave Krieg, 7 of 7, 67 yards in that drive. You wanted to know which Dave Krieg would show up? The real one.
Now the Hawks have owned the ball the entire second period. 9:34 to play. And down on one knee goes Glenn Young. Well, for Dan Ross, it was his 2nd touchdown as a member of this Seahawk unit. And as Reggie said, it is a very, very tired tight end.
Yes, the play action fakes gets the linebacker to hold up just a bit, allowing Dan Ross to get in behind and the lob pass for the touchdown. And now they're beginning to wake up here in the great Pacific Northwest with that touchdown.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want these fans to do if you're a member of the opposition. And Bernie Kosar, being a rookie, never heard anything like what he is about to hear the remainder of this afternoon. Out of the I formation, Kosar sets the Browns' offensive line. Play action. Kosar, quick release. Newsom's got it at the 23-yard line. And oh, is he taken off his feet in a hurry. Paul Moyer, who is playing for the injured Kenny Easley.
It's sort of self-defeating to run a play-action pass, fake it to a back or two, drop back another 7 feet or so, and then throw a pass complete to an All-Pro and Hall of Famer for 2 yards. That's not the kind of offense Cleveland wants to employ. I think they really want to get that ball downfield, but Bernie Kosar just doesn't take the kinds of chances that Gary Danielson would take, Phil.
Kosar 2 of 4, only 10 yards. We are reaching the midway point of the second period. Brennan is in motion. Mack. He tries to take it outside. He gets outside across the 37 and down at the 38. Fred Young on the tackle. If you look at these two defenses, Reggie, the leading tacklers of both the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns. Look at these two defenses, Reggie. The leading tacklers of both the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns are their inside linebackers.
Well, that's because the defensive schemes are set up for Fred Young and Keith Butler for Seattle and Cousineau and Johnson for Cleveland. But I want to show you a guy that should be a great lineman in this league, and we're going to watch and take a look at it. Number 77, Ricky Bolden. Look at the big man, 287 pounds, pull around the corner, seek out somebody, and try to destroy him.
Bolden playing left tackle today, his third position on the offensive line this year. Kosar, great job on the play action. Oh, he lets it sail. Earnest Byner, the intended receiver. Kosar throwing into double coverage, John Harris and Paul Moyer.
Now that's what you have to do, Bernie. You have to put that ball downfield. As long as you throw the ball short underneath, you won't challenge the deep backs. But when you put the football downfield, when you stretch the defense, make people run in the secondary, they begin to believe that you might threaten them deep.
Had a good chat with Keith Simpson, number 42, the left corner for the Seahawks, yesterday at practice. I asked him, would you rather go up against a Dan Fouts, a Dan Marino, a Joe Montana kind of guy, or would you just as soon like to take the week off against a guy like Kosar? He said, Bill, I'd like to play against the best every single Sunday. Byner to the 42, knocked off his feet by Keith Butler. Did you feel the same way, Reggie, as a receiver? Do you always want to go up against the best corners in the game?
I want to play against whomever I can beat. He can be the worst cornerback on the field. If I can beat him, that's fine. The stats in the paper the next day aren't going to say I beat the worst guy on the field.
But you know, I'll call you and remind you. 7:25 to play in the first half. Kosar from the shotgun. Here come the Hawks. Kosar unloads. He's got Brennan and overthrows him at the 25-yard line. So it'll be 4th down and 7 for Cleveland.
So mothers, you want your babies to grow up to be quarterbacks, huh? You think it's easy? Watch this. Watch Jacob Green and Randy Edwards. Oh, Rydell in the chest.
Punt is picked up at the 12-17-yard line. Scansey is knocked off his feet by Don Rogers. A 45-yard punt. The Hawks will begin this drive from their own 19-yard line when we come back. Curt Warner on the far sideline. The word is just a breather. He will return. What a talent. Oh, what a talent. Just another, Reggie, in a long line of outstanding running backs that came out of Joe Paterno country. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line, the Seahawks. They own the lead 10-3. Randall Morris, special teams connoisseur, to the 19-yard line. Carl Hairston and Clay Matthews on the stop. Minnesota doing a number on Tampa Bay, 13-0. That game now midway through the second period.
Well, Phil, first down is so important in pro football. It really dictates what you do on 3rd down. Here, the Seahawks did not pick up much. The Browns know that they will probably have to pass the ball, and they want to play nickel defense. Let's see what happens.
Hughes, the big fullback. Hairston had him at the line. Clay Matthews finally knocked him down at the 27-yard line.
This is a counter play. They start one way. Matthews is looking into the backfield a little bit. Now watch, the ball comes right back to him. Good hit, good stop on the runner. That's a good technique there. Matthews handling the blocker, but yet watching the runner at the same time, being able to throw him off and make the tackle.
We've talked about this Seattle Seahawks defensive 11, but how about the Cleveland Browns? Only the Bears and the 49ers are allowing fewer points to the opposition.
And touchdowns.
Krieg near side. Morris.
Oh, good move.
What a move he put on Eddie Johnson. Johnson looked like one of these big jumbo jets they build down the road.
Morris, who is 6 feet, 190 pounds in his second year from Tennessee, watch this good move here. Whoops. Gets inside there, now gets just enough for the first down. Called shaking and baking.
At the 30-yard line, Randall Morris in the backfield along with Hughes. Morris, his second year out of Tennessee. Hughes tries to come through the left side following Brian Millard and Edwin Bailey. There's not much. 2, possibly 3. Cousineau is in the neighborhood.
Let's go down inside the trenches, as they're called. Number 79, Golick, once again, stands Blair Bush right up. Bush has no leverage whatsoever. Golick pushes the entire pile and makes a big play, stopping the Seahawks once again with about a 2-yard gain.
You know, Reggie, it has been documented week in and week out. Players do not like playing on the artificial. Players do not like playing on the artificial surface, but offensive and defensive linemen, particularly Bob Golick, they really like to mix it up on the muck, don't they?
They do. I mean, it's hard down there, and when the field doesn't give, you come away with more injuries, more bruises.
Swing pass. Hughes has got it. He has a first down at the 41-yard line. He took Larry Brazil on head-on, and Hughes is holding the left knee. Keep in mind, he is just back from a nerve injury to his neck.
And that's the one quality that Hughes brings to this team, is catching out of the backfield. Now watch number 80, Largent. You don't think receivers block? There he is. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't think they block.
That's a chicken wing block.
Perfected in Buffalo.
Well, there's Hughes right there, writhing in pain, grabbing his leg.
Krieg on 1st and 10 from the 41, 15 of 18 in the ball game, 9 consecutive completions. Looking for number 10 in a row. All the time in the world, he's got his 10th. It's complete to Mike Tice, the big tight end, his second catch of the afternoon. Krieg now 16 of 19.
Well, I don't know what Cleveland's philosophy was coming into this football game, whether they would see the inconsistent Krieg or the one they're seeing here today, but Cleveland is going to have to put more pressure on Krieg. This is the Krieg that last year went to the AFC Pro Bowl, threw 32 touchdown passes. He's 3rd in the league right now in touchdown passes. They'll have to find a way to put more pressure on him. They can't let him sit back there and count the house.
Well, there's a man right there, Chuck Knox, who is a big Dave Krieg fan. 2nd down and 3 from the 48. Through the right side, it is Eric Lane, his first carry on the day. He'll be close to the first down. You know, I mentioned the fact that Knox is a big Dave Krieg fan. He does not have a lot of great followers in the Pacific Northwest, Reggie, and it's hard to understand why. You look back, only 2 quarterbacks in the entire league have thrown more touchdown passes than he's thrown this year. Only 1 threw for more touchdowns last year.
Well, as you take a look at Chuck Knox's record against the Browns, I think a lot of that has to do with the perception of Dave Krieg as a player. He isn't flamboyant, not picturesque. All he does is win. He gets the job done, and it's been a happy marriage between Knox and Dave Krieg at quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks.
From the 49-yard line, 2 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first half. Out of the I formation, play action. Krieg is going to unload. He is going for it all. And he overthrows Largent at the 5-yard line. Largent running step for step with him, Larry Brazil.
There's a complete contrast to Darrell Turner on the other side. Turner with the great speed, doesn't have the underneath moves. You saw Largent there make the little move to gain some leverage on the defender, to put himself in a position that would be favorable for the catch, but Brazil had excellent coverage on the outside. Steve Largent, he's headed for Canton, Ohio. That's where the Football Hall of Fame is.
Word on David Hughes, the fullback, number 46, lying on the far sideline holding his knee a few moments ago. He is okay and should return. There's Mr. Hughes. 2nd down, 10 yards to go from the 49. Stay tuned. NFL 85 coming up at halftime. Bob Costas, Ahmad, and the Axe. Krieg looking left, coming left, and it's Largent. Oh.
Is a picture-perfect pass completion. The ball is actually thrown now. Krieg has thrown the football. Now watch him adjust to the ball and fight, find it, make the catch, put his feet down before he got out of bounds. Terrific play by Steve Largent. Look at that.
Largent on the afternoon with those 30 yards. Afternoon. With those 30 yards, he is now 4 for 80 yards. At the 19-yard line, it is a first down.
Teams refuse to double cover him, Phil, because he's not fast, he's not big, and he doesn't have all the requisites that modern-day receivers have. But they'll learn you have to double cover Steve Largent.
Bob Golick is out of the ball game, holding his knee on the near sideline. Craig's pass, intended for Eric Lane, is knocked down by Keith Baldwin. Golick is now up on the near sideline. It appears as if he will return, but for the time being, Dave Pozzoli is in the ball game at nose guard.
You know, sometimes I think people think that the only reason why you double cover professional receivers is because the guy is a world-class sprinter. That is a deceptive theory. You double cover people because they have the ability to get open, and you know why Largent is like Denny's?
Why he's like Denny's?
Yes.
I give.
He's always open.
Second down and 10 from the 19. Craig starts right. Oh, wow. Chip Banks. Nobody touched Chip Banks.
Well, Banks wanted the fumble, but I think they had him. Chip, you had him in the grasp, and they have to call it. The fumble came after the play. Chip's coming from your right side, number 56. Watch him barreling in on Craig. Gets him down, and as you saw there, the ball came out after Craig hit the turf.
For Chip Banks, his 10th sack. Only 4 linebackers in the game have more sacks than Chip Banks. Of course, Andre Tippett, Lawrence Taylor, Ricky Jackson with the Saints, and Mike Wilcher with the Rams. We'll be back to the Kingdome in Seattle in just a moment. We're 2 minutes away from NFL 85 with Bob Costas. He will update you on all the games in progress and show highlights of all the games in the books on this, the 14th week of the National Football League season. Seattle 6 of 8 in third down conversions. They're faced with 3rd and 19 now. Craig from the shotgun unloads. Eric Lane's got it. He's inside the 15, the 10, and he's out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A first down for the Seahawks.
Eric Lane in his 5th year from Brigham Young. Plays fullback. He's small, but he has a good receiver and very quick. Watch him run down the sideline here. Clay Matthews coming all the way over from the other side to force him out of bounds. Seahawks are threatening again.
David Hughes is back in the game. The man that just carted that football for a big first down. Eric Lane heads for the sideline. First and goal at the Cleveland 8-yard line. 1:53 to play in the first half. It's 10-3 Seattle. Craig puts it up. Intended for Largent. Largent was just trampled by Larry Brazil. Good pressure on Craig by Al Gross on the strong safety blitz.
I'm not sure if Frank Minifield is injured. We have had no word, but the Browns are not playing Minifield. Apparently he strained a muscle in warm-up because Hanford Dixon now has begun to play Largent wherever he goes. So the Browns are going to be crippled somewhat with their style of play without Minifield in there.
Craig lays it up. The flag is down. Hold everything. Touchdown Seattle. Darrell Turner, but wait a minute. Offside Cleveland. The touchdown to Darrell Turner will stand. For Turner, his 11th touchdown of the year.
This is what they've been asking Darrell Turner to do. Make an adjustment on the ball in flight. He turns around, a circus catch in midair. He controls his body well, makes a Steve Largent-like catch, and when you add that with all the great speed and the 10 touchdowns, you've got a very promising future for number 81 from Michigan State, Darrell Turner.
For Turner, his first catch today. It's an 8-yard touchdown pass from Dave Craig. He only had 8 catches in his last 4 games. Norm Johnson tacks on the point after. And with 1 minute and 45 seconds to play in the first half, the Seahawks 17, Cleveland 3. Darrell Turner, that is his 11th touchdown catch of 1985. And depending on what the other receivers do today, that puts him atop the National Football League. He came into today's game tied with Pittsburgh's Lewis Lipps with 10 touchdown catches apiece. Remember a year ago when Lipps and Turner were rookies, they were neck and neck before Lipps finally caught 11 touchdown passes to win Rookie of the Year on it. Norm Johnson lets it sail. At the 3-yard line, here comes Glenn Young. He had a 63-yarder back in the first period. This time he brings it out to the 24-yard line before he is knocked off his feet by Keith Simpson.
Here's a look at the scoring drive. 14 plays, 81 yards. Seahawks held the ball for 5 minutes and 20 seconds. They have an overwhelming advantage in time of possession in this football game. I think something like 18 minutes, Phil, of the first 28 minutes they've had the ball.
Now, one of the problems is Bernie Kosar, only 2 of 6 for 10 yards. When is the last time you saw a Browns football team with 10 yards passing in the first half? Byner tries the right side, and he goes out of bounds. Paul Moyer chased him out. Clock stops with 1:33 to play. As I said a moment ago, Bob Ahmad and the Axe will be coming your way in just 1:33. NFL 85. Incidentally, next Saturday, special edition of NFL 85. Bob Costas and the crew at NFL 85 will have a special feature report on the fired NFL coaches, and one of his guests, our own Sam Rutigliano, formerly of the Cleveland Browns. Byner's got it at the 30-yard line. Terry Taylor jumps on his back and knocks him down. Clock continues to run. The Browns are going to try and go into a 2-minute drill with 1:17 to play. And the first half from the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington. Byner. Oh, you could hear that clear up here. He went shoulder pad to shoulder pad with Greg Gaines.
Marty Schottenheimer isn't the kind of coach to abandon a game plan. Bernie Kosar is going to go over and talk to him about the next minute or so that they have to get something on the board before halftime.
Timeout situation with 1:04 to play in the first half. The Browns 61 yards away. They would love to get something on the board. They trail by a couple of touchdowns. Kosar lets it go. And that, my friends, was not even close.
That pass seemed to slip away from Bernie's grasp that time. It just didn't appear that he had a good grip on it. Denver 14, LA Raiders nothing.
Now that is bad news for Seahawks fans. Or they would love for the Raiders to win that one. Elway with a touchdown pass. Sammy Winder a 1-yard run. Keep in mind, the Raiders next week are in Anaheim to take on the Rams. Kosar lets it go. Newsom tripped up at the 27-yard line.
Keith Simpson running right with Ozzie down the middle. I thought the Browns had something going that time because Ozzie did have a step or two, but he was overthrown by Kosar again. Good pass protection that time for Bernie, and it was a good drop and a good throw. Seahawks 15 first downs to the Browns 5. That gives you an indication of the continuity that the Seahawks have had in the first half, running and throwing the football.
Reggie, I want to correct one thing. The Raiders next week play at home against the Seahawks. And then it's the Rams at Anaheim. Kosar lets it go, and Brian Brennan at the 3-yard line. The Browns have struck with 41 seconds to play in the first half. 58 yards from the rookie out of Miami. Oh, what a pass. The clock stops with 33, make it 38 seconds to play in the first. Bernie Kosar made a living doing this.
He actually throws this ball about 65 yards in the air to make the 57-yard reception for Brian Brennan, who has been seldom used but still is a very good receiver and a big play player.
Now here's this crowd we were speaking of in the first half. They will come alive now. Kosar
fumbles the football. The football is loose.
Kosar devastated by Terry Jackson, and the ball popped loose. The Hawks have turned the Browns away with 29 seconds to play in the first half.
This may be almost impossible to overcome. Kosar should get rid of the football now and come back and do it again. Terry Jackson with a good blindside hit on Bernie. The ball is loose. The Seahawks are everywhere. They've turned the momentum around. The Browns don't get a score. Boy, it's a tough thing to have to deal with when you get that close and come away with nothing.
Reggie, I have to ask you the question. The Browns' bread and butter is running the football. Byner, Mack off the tackles. Why on 1st and goal at the 4 would you go away from your strength?
Well, because they used the timeout earlier, remember? And they could get themselves in a situation where they can run out of timeouts. Even though they had one left, you really don't want to have to rush that series that close. But I agree, there should have been some composure exhibited there so that the Browns would come out of that 1st and goal at the 4-yard line with some points.
Now Kosar, after completing a 57-yard pass with 35 seconds to play all the way down to the Seattle 4, on the very next play is hit, coughs up the football. Seattle recovers, and the Browns are turned away. It is halftime at the Dome. It's the Seahawks 17, Cleveland 3.
In the air and coming down with a touchdown. Big play for Darrell Turner. And here is a big play in this football game. Cleveland getting ready to score at the half. Kosar carrying the football low, gets hit by Terry Jackson. Seahawks recover. Cleveland gets nothing.
Well, it is still halftime. The Browns are coming back out onto the playing field. They trail by 14. We'll be back with the second half here at the Superdome. Well, in the first half, with the exception of his long pass that closed out the first half, he had a mere 10 yards.
But the fact remains that he does have that instant offensive ability in that right arm, that powerful right arm of his, as we saw with the pass to Brennan. There's Dave Krieg. We wondered aloud which Krieg would show up. We are seeing the version that earned himself a trip to the AFC Pro Bowl in 1984, having thrown 32 touchdown passes a year ago. He is 3rd in the league at this particular time. Marino threw 5, and I think Dan Fouts was #1 coming into the ball game with 24 touchdown passes. So Dave Krieg is finding the targets. He is having a fine first half.
I think I said a moment ago that we were at the Superdome. Of course, this is the Kingdome in Seattle. I was looking all the way ahead to Super Bowl 20, Reggie, at the Superdome in
where we'll
New
be
Orleans
on NBC.
That's exactly right. On Sunday, January 26th. Well, there's the scoring summary. The first quarter, both teams exchanging field goals, and then in the second period, it was all Seattle.
And 2 players that the Seahawks have to count on were Norm Johnson, who hit that 51-yard, and Darrell Turner. Look at the time of possession. 19 minutes and 21 seconds. You can't run a business if you're the Cleveland Browns, having been on the field for only 10 minutes. And turnovers, of course, in the Seahawks' favor. Total yards, 230 to 120. Browns have to get more offense, Phil. It's simply, it's just that simple.
Look at yards passing, Reggie. The Hawks with 197, the Browns with 65. Kosar 5 of 11.
Will we see Gary Danielson?
Well, in weeks gone by, we have seen Danielson come in that very dramatic role, coming on to relieve Kosar. And
the Cape Crusader.
You bet. But what is very, very important, the Browns have got to keep pace. If they lose today, they will fall into a tie with Cincinnati. Keep in mind, Pittsburgh can make it a 3-way tie tonight. They play at 9 o'clock Eastern in San Diego against the Chargers.
And as we told you, Cleveland wants to avoid a 3-way tie for first place, because if it came down to a 3-way tie on the last day of the season, Cincinnati would go to the playoffs.
Norm Johnson lets it sail, and it is Glenn Young a yard deep, and down on one knee he goes. He had a 63-yard kickoff return back in the first period, but elects this time to go down on a knee and let Kosar and company begin from their own 20-yard line. Well, we've talked so much about the AFC Central Division, the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, but how about the AFC West? The Seahawks still mathematically in the running, but it is an uphill battle realistically.
They have a much more difficult road to travel. The only thing the Seahawks can be concerned with right now is to win every game. They can't even be concerned about anybody else. They must win every Sunday from here on out.
Brian Brennan goes in motion. He is picked up by Terry Taylor. The give is right up the middle. Kevin Mack. And there's nothing there. Fred Young says, how do you do?
Two key members missing from either side of the line of scrimmage. Paul Farron is back home in Cleveland, number 74. And here's a look at the hit right there by Fred Young. We talked about him in the first half. Aggressive, good hitting player. And on the Seahawks side of the ball, Kenny Easley, the all-world defensive back, is not playing, and they have scarcely missed him, Phil.
Second down and 10 now. Byner sprinting to the near sideline. Mack has it. He tries to go straight ahead out near the 24. May have made it to the 25. Jacob Green on the tackle. Now Kevin Mack. Oh, when you think of the outstanding running backs that have played in the Cleveland Browns uniform, the first Browns rookie to rush for more than 1,000 yards. That is a mouthful.
But of course, the rookie record is over 1,800 yards by Eric Dickerson of the Los Angeles Rams 2 years ago.
Kosar to put it up on 3rd and 5. In and out of the hands of Brennan at the 41-yard line. Good pursuit by Terry Taylor.
Very difficult.
By Terry Taylor.
Very difficult catch to make for Brian Brennan. I don't think he could have come up with that ball. That ball was thrown low and behind Brennan, and he really didn't have a chance to position himself to make a catch.
We thought earlier today that field position would play a very big part in this ball game, and the Hawks will almost certainly be assured of outstanding field position after Jeff Gossett's putt. At the 25-yard line, Scansey to the 38. A 50-yard punt, a 13-yard return.
And Phil, go back to the Browns possession again. We talked about at the beginning of this program how important it was to for the Browns to pick up yardage rushing the football on first down. They haven't done that so many times today, and consequently they have gotten nothing out of their offensive series. Krieg has thrown at least one TD pass in 31 of 32 games. The all-time record for throwing touchdown passes consecutively is 47, held by Johnny Unitas.
Johnny U, absolutely correct. First down, 39-yard line, 13:25 to play, third period. Play action, Krieg to put it up. He lets it fly. Look at Largent. Boy, I'll tell you what. A flag is down back at the 30-yard line. It will be called back.
Good protection here. The Seahawks keep the Browns out of Craig's face. Largent coming right across the middle where he knows he's going to take a shot, and he takes one from Don Rogers.
Incidentally, Don Rogers' little brother and sister in the stadium today.
Little brother, 6 feet 7 inches tall, 250 pounds. You call that little, huh?
Plays for the University of Washington.
And his sister plays for the University of Oregon. That's a very athletic family. Don Rogers, quite a player himself, number 20, the free safety of the Cleveland Browns. He is a hard-hitting player.
Penalty against the Seahawks for holding. It is now first down and 20 from the 29-yard line. Little counter. That's Warner, his first carry of the second half. Now we wonder what kind of a game Bob Golick would have going nose-to-nose with the big offensive center, Blair Bush.
Golick is having a fine game. They are shutting down the Seahawks rushing attack. There's Golick there pushing Bush back into the backfield. You can't do it any better than that. The trouble the Browns are having has basically been a fellow by the name of Steve Largent, and of course exerting no pressure whatsoever on Dave Krieg in the pass pocket.
Second down and 21. Well, the Hawks have made the big plays when they've needed them. And take a look at this one. They've done it again. Terrell Turner. So now, instead of third and a bundle, it will be third down and about 5.
There it is once again. You can see it yourself. There's not a white jersey in place there. And Darrell Turner is making some catches other than those of the long bomb variety. And that is helping him to regain his confidence, even though the yardage isn't much, but the type of reception has been very, very instrumental in, I guess, giving him back some confidence.
3rd down and 4 from the 44. Krieg, all the time in the world, he lets it fly. It is caught by Kurt Warner.
Banks can't believe that they're going to rule a reception, because if you make a catch in the air and the defender is the reason why you go out of bounds, then it's rule a reception. But if you make the catch in the air and you go out of bounds on your own, they shouldn't rule this a reception. Let's see. There's 1 foot down and the other foot's out of bounds. 1 foot down. Let's see. See, Banks doesn't make contact with Warner, so now let's see. 1 foot inbounds, the right foot is in. No, that's not a reception.
No catch, but the officials, who do not have instant replay available to them, it's a controversial topic, and the 1st down will stand at the 43-yard line. Krieg, he's going for it all. Turner, no way, not even close. The Dave Krieg we have seen today, Reggie Rucker, is the Dave Krieg the San Diego Chargers saw back at the beginning of this season in San Diego.
Yeah, the Mad Bomber.
Oh, my.
21 of 28, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, which brings me to a point that Chuck Knox made to us yesterday. He said, look, if you don't lose a football game, the other team can't win it. That doesn't sound like a lot, but what it is it reflects his style. He doesn't want to turn the football over to the other team. He wants to take it away.
Here come the Browns. One of the few times they have blitzed today, and it pays rich dividends. Boy, Krieg is buried at the 42, which brings up a question I've asked you over the last couple of weeks. Why don't the Browns blitz a bit more than they do?
It's a matter of philosophy, Phil. The Browns feel that they have enough players to play a stay-at-home, very basic kind of football game. But once you get into a game like this, there has to be an opportunity to make some adjustments. And the Browns, who aren't getting any pressure on Krieg, have to start doing it in another fashion, either with the blitz or just bringing 4 and 5 people on every down. They've got to put some pressure on the Seahawks.
Of course, you cannot argue the Browns' philosophy. They have the 8th best passing defense in the National Football League, but they only have 37 sacks now in the year.
And they take the ball away fewer than any team in the league.
Krieg releases. Look at this. Eric Lane out of the backfield. Big running room. He is into Browns territory at the 48-yard line. Hanford Dixon on the tackle. Jeff Gossett will come on 4th down and about 13. Check that, Dave Finzer. Finzer with a 40-yard average. His longest this year, 61 yards.
Finzer has thrown a pass previously, and ironically, the only pass he threw was intercepted. So Knox probably won't have him throw another pass.
Now his quarterback rating will suffer. Good snap. At the 10-yard line, Brennan's got it. They've got the return left on, and the Seahawks shut it down. Paul Moyer, good pop, 37-yard punt. The clock's tied 1 right here. They trail 17-3 with 10:16 to play. 10:16 to play in the 3rd period. From the 17, Kosar to Brennan. He's got it at the 20-yard line, and he's covered instantly by Terry Taylor. Now, Reggie, so often we all tend to forget that Bernie Kosar, only 3 years out of Boardman High School in Boardman, Ohio, only played 2 years of college ball. Is 2 years of even major college ball enough to adequately prepare you for the National Football League?
I don't believe it is when you're talking about passing situations, because the quarterback has to see so many pictures, as they call it, so many defensive looks and so forth, that Bernie just hasn't had that opportunity. But they never intended for Bernie to be in here this early.
Second down and 7. There's a counter. Byner tries the left side. He is smashed at the line of scrimmage by Keith Butler. And while they unpile, let's go to Ahmad in New York with this update. Ahmad.
All right, Phil, in Denver, the Raiders are fighting back. Here, Mark Wilson connects with Todd Christensen on this 3-yard touchdown pass. The Raiders still trail Denver 14-7 in the third quarter. Back to you, Phil.
Thanks, Ahmad. Incidentally, at Mile High Stadium, their 116th consecutive sellout. 75,000 plus in Denver today. Third down and 5 from the 22. Now this crowd is coming to life. Kosar, it is complete to Brennan, and he is grabbed at the knees at the 35-yard line. Dave Brown on the tackle. A 14-yard gain for Kosar and company.
I was watching Kosar set up to throw that time. He had a good drop. He set himself well, and he threw the ball on time and with accuracy. The play before, he didn't do that. He threw off his back foot moving back. Watch him now. Set up good, take the step, deliver the football on time. Brennan with the fine catch. That's the way you do it.
First and 10 from the 36. For the Browns, only their 7th first down of this ball game. Newsom, he's got it, and wrestled to the ground by John Harris. For Newsom, his 3rd catch of the ball game.
Now that was impressive by Bernie. He recognized the defense. He saw the Seahawks coming fast. He got the ball to the receiver very quickly, and that's very frustrating for the defense if you're going to get rid of the ball that quickly. And that's what Dan Marino is just about destroying defenses in the National Football League with, that kind of philosophy. Quick release.
You go back a year ago, remember the great game between Miami and Boston College down in the Orange Bowl? Flutie's Hail Mary at the closing seconds. Nobody even remembers that Bernie Kosar that afternoon against Flutie threw for 447 yards himself.
Whoever remembers when you lose, Phil.
Good point.
Chuck Knox says that all good things come from winning. And when you don't win, there's nothing that can be learned. You know, can you give me the last 5 losers of the Super Bowl?
Good point.
You
Excellent
probably
point.
can't give me the last 5 winners.
I can give you the last 5 winners. First down and 10 from the 46. 7:50 to play, third period. That's Brennan in motion. Kosar, pressure.
Ball is gone. It's a fumble.
And the Browns have covered it. And you can thank George Lilja for that. An outstanding hit by Jacob Green on Kosar.
They even picked up a few yards on that play. When you have to play a rookie quarterback, you're going to have to suffer with him as he experiences the highs and lows of the National Football League. And Bernie feels pressure. Here comes Green. Once again, he's carrying that football low. You have to protect that football a little better than that. Now, Lilja gets in there on that football, and I'm surprised that Lilja, with those mittens on, was able to pick that football up.
That's the 3rd sack by the Seahawks today. They now have 51 on the year. The Raiders lead the league with 52 sacks. Kosar.
Oh, Jacob Green.
Reggie for Jacob Green. That is his 9th sack of the year.
This is a talented threesome up front, and then they bring in Randy Edwards in his 2nd year from Alabama, who came into the ball game with 9 sacks, leading the club, and he doesn't play.
You know the thing we have failed to mention. Who is Jacob Green going up against today? A man he knows very, very well.
Yes, a teammate at Texas A&M, Cody Rising.
3rd and a little more than 10. Out of the shotgun. Flags are down. Kosar lets it go. Oh, no. Clarence Weathers. It's going to be called back. Clarence Weathers is lying face down. Oh, my word.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's like deja vu. I have been in that situation before. The lights go out. You don't know where you are. It's a very, very delicate situation here. Watch the hit on Weathers, completely unprotected, looking back to the receiver. The ball is high. It just isn't a pretty sight.
The hit delivered by Dave Brown in his 11th year out of Michigan.
And when I see a hit like that, my prayers go out to the players, because I had a very dear friend by the name of Darryl Stingley when I played with New England, who suffered a career-ending injury on a hit similar to that when he was up in the air. And I try to tell receivers, young receivers particularly, stay out of the air. If you don't have to jump, if you don't have to leave your feet, don't do it. And Weathers is still down.
Let's listen to Fred Silver.
Offside, defense, personal foul, defense. Previous spot, touchdown.
They're going to get Dave Brown.
Let's see where the hit. You cannot hit a player to the head. That is a shot to the head. The penalty is correct. You have to eliminate the...
Did two on the 50-yard line. Let's take one more look as the stretcher is out to take Clarence Weathers off. And boy, all of us here at NBC Sports, and certainly sports fans everywhere, holding their breath and just praying that Clarence Weathers is okay.
It's a dark moment for wide receivers when this kind of thing happens. You're in the air and you're unprotected. Wide receivers make their living running one way and looking another. They never get a chance to see where it's coming from. And when you start talking about what people make and how much money is thrown about, all you have to look at or remember is what Joe Theismann went through or what Clarence Weathers just went through, to realize that these players put their lives and their health on the line every time they step on the football field.
Now, while they're attending to Clarence Weathers, the clock is stopped with 6:18 to play in the third period. Seattle over the Browns 17-3. Let's check other scores around the league. Chicago over Indianapolis 17-10. That's the final. Detroit's problems on the road continue. Big losers at Foxborough. Washington over Philadelphia 17-12. Boy, Philadelphia blowing that big league a week ago to Minnesota. Lose again today. Miami over Green Bay. Marino 5 touchdown passes. The Jets bomb Buffalo. Cincinnati, the surprise of the day. They buried Dallas. St. Louis over New Orleans. Kansas City defeated the Atlanta Falcons at home 38-10. And that is the roar you heard a moment ago. The Raiders have come back. They trailed at one point 14-0. They're now tied at 14. The Giants leading Houston, and Minnesota over Tampa Bay 19-0 and the third period. While we wait, let's go to Ahmad Rashad in New York. Ahmad.
All right, Phil and Reggie, in Denver, Marcus Allen, my pick for league MVP, goes off right tackle for 15 yards and a touchdown. The score's tied 14-14 in the third quarter. But what's that saying? You can't keep a good man down?
Well, Ahmad, we were sitting here in Seattle talking about receivers and what they face week in and week out on the playing field. And you watching from New York, I'm sure, have vivid memories of your playing days at Minnesota. Reggie?
Very rarely when an injury occurs like this, does a player not move. Weathers has not moved from that spot, and that's Dr. John Bergfeld. There's none quite as good as he is, so he knows what he's doing down there.
All right, well, while they take Clarence off the field, we'll pause. Division playoff picture as it stands right now. Denver and Los Angeles atop the AFC West. There's the schedule that remains. Denver at home against Kansas City, and then they come right up here to the Kingdome and close out the campaign against the Seahawks. For the Raiders, it is a tough battle, Reg.
Well, Seattle and L.A., and of course that territorial game, I guess you might call it, last week of the season. I think that's on Monday night, L.A. Raiders and the L.A. Rams for undisputed possession of Los Angeles.
You bet. And of course, Seahawk fans would love nothing more than for Denver to beat the Raiders today. Check that, check that. For the Raiders to knock off Denver this afternoon at Mile High. That game tied at 14 now in the third quarter. And then have the Rams knock off the Raiders at Anaheim in Week 16. Now, if you're more concerned about the AFC Central Division, the Cleveland Browns, if they win all the way out, and it does not appear as if they're going to get the job done here today in Seattle, I'll tell you, we could have a three-way tie, Reggie, when the sun sets tonight.
Of course, Cincinnati is 7-7 at this point, having defeated Dallas already, and they play in Washington next week. That's Dave Brown, the man who delivered the blow on Clarence Weathers. They're taking Weathers from the field on a stretcher at this point in the same position he was hit. We pause now at this point.
Let's pause for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KING-TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
As much as I hate to see this type of thing, we want to show you the hit once again. Very courageous player in Weathers. It's not big at all. He's only 170 pounds. And there was a penalty thrown here. Flag thrown. The penalty was unsportsmanlike conduct and blow to the head.
Illegal blow to the head. It is first down, Cleveland. And now the fans turn their attention back to football. It is first and 10 Cleveland with 6:18 to play in the third period. The lone setback is Byner. And the give is to Earnest. Right up the gut. He followed Mike Babb and Dan Fike through the right side. Jacob Green with Keith Butler on the tackle. Pickup of 5.
Sometimes you wonder what type of influence on the game that play would have, Phil. Sometimes it inspires your teammates. Sometimes it's deflating. The Browns can't be any more down than they have been. They need some points.
Well, if you're Fred Banks, the rookie out of Liberty University, he is now lined up versus Dave Brown right at the top of your screen. The give to the near side. That's Kevin Mack. And a Hawks pursue. What a game Fred Young has played. Second year out of New Mexico State.
It really was a stunt action within the line by Jacob Green that caused the derailment of this play right here. Look at Green, 79, getting through. Big guy on his feet, running through traffic well. He gets in there and corrals Mack and stops him behind the line of scrimmage.
You know, in his first time he faced the Cleveland Browns last year in his rookie season, it was his first pro game ever. I'm talking about Fred Brown. He blocked a punt, forced a fumble, and had 4 tackles. A little dump to Byner. Byner still on his feet inside the 20-yard line and taken out near the 17. Greg Gaines on the tackle, a gain of 20 yards on the play on a little dump from Kosar.
Byner is truly a remarkable runner because he's so strong, he's so powerfully built, so compact. Watch how low he runs to the ground, runs right through tackles. You have to get your arms around this man and stop him around the legs because he's so powerful and he is determined. And I'll tell you, if there's anyone who is really upset about what took place with Weathers, it is Earnest Byner.
First down at the 16. Kosar, there's Mack. He turns it upfield, ran right through the tackle of Jeff Bryant into the arms of Fred Young, and here comes a couple of flags. Now the situation we saw a moment ago, the injury to Clarence Weathers, I would think could have 2 completely different contrasting effects on the Browns. Either one, they suffer an absolutely incomplete emotional letdown, or they say, let's suck it up, guys, and win this one for Clarence.
I've got a report for you after this.
Offense, number 83, illegal block above the waist in the back, 10 yards, still first down.
Penalty on Fred Banks. They'll walk off 10.
Okay, we just got a report that Clarence Weathers is conscious. He has pain in his neck, but he can move everything. And that is really all that matters, that he has movement in all of his limbs.
Understand now it is neck and right arm pain. But he has feeling, and that is a tremendous relief. First and 20 now with 4:33 to play in the first period. Kosar looks right, comes back left, in and out of the arms of Byner.
Well, that was an unfortunate penalty by Fred Banks. The Browns had really moved the football into good scoring position, and then you get the 10-yard penalty for holding, and you really take your offense out of everything it wants to do. Pro football teams have specific plays that they like to run down around the 20-yard line. Now you got second down, and it's 20, and you put a lot of pressure on Kosar and that offensive line to keep the Seahawks out.
Second down and 20 from the 25. 4:29 left to play on the third. Kosar, deep drop. At the 15-yard line, it is complete.
He ruled that incomplete, Phil.
Brian Brennan, and now they're going to rule it was bounced in.
He ruled that incomplete. I thought he caught that football.
Well, either Brennan thought he caught it or he's putting on a show.
Let's see if we can determine here. We can't see anything from that angle. Although the ball is on the ground. Probably never maintained possession of the football.
3rd down and 20. And now the chant here at the Dome is defense.
This is where you usually want to look at Ozzie Newsome. Down here you think plays and not players.
Byner. Inside the 15, down near the 14. Joe Nash, the nose tackle. All the way back at the 15-yard line to make the tackle.
Oh, surprising call.
A gain of 10. It will be 4th down now and just a little more than 9. And Matt Barr is on.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns didn't fake this play. And well, they do have a run play here, all pass play, but maybe there's a little bit too much to go for them to run that play here.
Paul McDonald, the holder. Barr will let it go. A flag is down. The field goal is good from 32 yards away. Wait just a minute. Mike Babb, the center, is indicating it is against the Seahawks.
What do you do now? Maybe go for the 1st down?
Defense, right side, offside, decline, successful field goal.
They're going to take the 3.
Take the sure 3. You've got plenty of time to get more. 3:31 to play in the 3rd period. It's the Seahawks 17, the Browns.
Retired a jersey in honor of Seahawks fans.
Well, they are the most vocal fans in all of football. Barr, short kick at the 13-yard line. Paul Scansey has it. Oh, was he knocked off his feet at the 21. Glenn Young on the tackle. He just took Scansey up in the air and deposited him on his backside. 3:23 to play, 3rd period. This is a big defensive series for the Browns, Reg. I would have to say that Marty Schottenheimer would like nothing more than to get that football back for his offense before Seattle can, number 1, get the ball upfield and put the Browns in poor field position, or at the worst, if you're a Browns fan, allow the Hawks to put more points on the board. That's Warner. Tiptoeing his way across the 25 near the 26. Eddie Johnson with help from Reggie Camp. Now next Saturday, join NBC Sports as we continue our coverage of the NFL season. You'll see John Elway as he tries to lead his Broncos to the playoffs and a possible AFC Western Division title when the Kansas City Chiefs travel to the Mile High City to battle the Bronx. Action gets underway with NFL 85 and host Bob Costas, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Incidentally, on NFL 85, Bob Costas will be talking with NFL coaches throughout history that have been fired. And Sam Rutigliano, who is now an analyst right here on NBC, will be one of Bob's guests.
Number 56, Chip Banks, number 1 draft choice of the Cleveland Browns from USC. Has been to the Pro Bowl 2 times in 3 years. He's headed back there again, having an outstanding year, stopping the blockers, actually taking on 2 blockers and jamming up the play. You're talking about a body. This man is built.
And he's got company back there at the linebacker spot. You know, Eddie Johnson, number 51, is sort of the forgotten man on that force. I mean, when you've got Clay Matthews and Chip Banks out of Southern Cal, Cousineau out of Ohio State, people say, Eddie Johnson out of Louisville? Wait a minute.
He's an attacker.
Oh, is he an attacker? 3rd down and 3. Krieg lets it fly. Turner.
Turner, the intended receiver. Larry Brazil made the defensive play.
So that is the scenario I painted a moment ago. It is now 4th down, and the Hawks will have to kick it away. Dave Finzer. He has punted twice today.
That was one of the few times in 3rd down situations, Phil, that Cleveland was able to turn the Seahawks away and prevent them from picking up that conversion 3rd down in order to keep that drive going. Big defensive series for Cleveland. Let's see what they do when they get the football.
Now Seattle now 6 for 12 in 3rd down situations. Finzer, that's a beauty. Backs Brennan up. Brennan's got it at the 23. And Down he goes. The ball pops loose.
They're going to call him down. He's got to be down. Nope.
They'll give it to Seattle.
Here's Brennan right now with the ball, faking a little bit. The ball can. Wait a minute. The ground cannot
cause a fumble. Boy, oh boy. That looked like a down ball. Cleveland Browns possession, but the officials give it to Seattle. Now next Sunday, join NBC Sports, another exciting NFL doubleheader. There's the lineup. It will all be preceded by NFL 85, and there's the big one, Seattle and the Raiders. Hughes starts right side, brings it back to the left side, and he is smacked right on Rodgers. Dave Pazzoli also in on the tackle.
That fumble takes us back to Chuck Knox's statement, Phil, about you can't lose a game if you can't lose the game if you don't give the football away. And boy, Cleveland has really turned the football over a couple times here, and Seahawks have no turnovers, and they are playing exactly the way that Knox blueprints the game.
Browns with 2 turnovers. They are now -9 on the year in the giveaway takeaway department. Warner dancing to the 17-yard line.
Let's go back to that fumble and take a look at it. Could be a big play in this game. Now he's juking and dodging right there. Well, he's been hit right there simultaneously with the turf, and the ball comes away from him, and another one of those calls that we don't understand, Phil.
It is a first down for Seattle at the Cleveland 15. Warner on the day, 11 carries, 23 yards. Browns showing blitz. Here they come. Krieg unloads in a hurry. Touchdown, Seattle.
Second time in this ball game that Turner makes a catch like this, which he has to locate the football, get away from the defensive back, and then maintain possession, and then bam! A big spike.
The Browns coming into today's ball game had allowed Reggie only 11 touchdown passes. That was second best in the NFL behind New England. The Patriots defense allowed only 8. They have given up 3 today.
And when you talk about applying more pressure on the quarterback, the Browns tried it then, and what happened to them? They got burned with a touchdown.
Boy, the Seattle Seahawks are turning this one into a round with 15 kicks to play in the third period from the Emerald City. It's the Hawks 24, the Cleveland Browns 6.
Here's another look at it. The Browns are blitzing. One-on-one coverage. Larry Brazil and Darryl Turner. Turner wins the confrontation. You put tremendous pressure on your outside defenders to cover receivers one-on-one with the entire field to run to when you blitz. And the Browns had no other choice, actually, because they hadn't been getting to Krieg. Krieg had a lot of time to sit back there and pick people out, secondary receivers, and so on. And so the Browns gambled on the blitz, and they get burned.
Well, and it all followed a very, very controversial call on a fumble by Brian Brennan.
Yes, it's one that, you know, I'm sure that there's some controversy over there. Will be some as to whether, in fact, it was a fumble. We've been told that the ground cannot cause a fumble, and Brian Brennan was being hit as he was falling down. He hit the turf, and then the ball came loose. The ball should have been downed at that point.
Well, turnovers today, 2 by Cleveland. The Seahawks have certainly capitalized on those turnovers, but on the year, Seattle now with 40 takeaways. They came into today's ball game tied for first in the NFL with the Patriots.
Let's make another point, too, Phil. We shouldn't seem as if we're apologizing for the Cleveland Browns, because, quite frankly, they're getting beat by a better football team right now.
Fumble at the 2. Glenn Young comes up with it. He fights his way back out to the 14.
He is a magician with the football down there. He is an outstanding kick runner.
The clock stops with 3 seconds left in the third period.
He muffs the football here in the end zone. And now he gets on it. The ball is in the field of play. And watch him do a little dance here and gets out of the shadow of his own end zone.
So Kosar and company will start deep in their own end. Keep in mind, while the Browns are down by 18, just remember back to what happened to Philadelphia a week ago. Minnesota, 28 unanswered points in the final 9 minutes of that ball game. And Minnesota beats the Eagles a week ago.
There's a fumble, and the Seahawks have recovered again.
Well, this is quickly turning into the great giveaway caper for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Nash being fought off by 2 or 3 Clevelanders. Now watch Nash pursue the football, actually causes the fumble, and that's why Joe Nash is the premier nose tackle in the National Football League.
Into 3 quarters. It's Seattle in a rout. We'll be back after these messages from your local.
Doesn't, and that's because the Browns have given the football to the Seahawks.
On 3 separate occasions, they have given it to the Hawks.
That's the takeaway turnover story in this ball game.
Out of the I formation. The pitches to the deep man. That's Curt Warner. He'll try to turn the corner. And he runs out of artificial surface at the 9-yard line.
This is a football team, the Seahawks, that have built on this statistic right here. In the 7 wins, they're plus 11. And their 6 losses, they're minus 8. Of course, if they should go on to win here, they'll have 8 wins, and they're plus 3 today. They'd have 14 takeaways. Well, they'd have a rating of plus 14, which is outstanding.
14:55 to play in this ball game. Boy, the Browns have been able to generate absolutely nothing offensively. Second down and 9 from the 9. Krieg. He eluded Cousineau and threw it away. Largent trying to come back and get the football. That's what you call sight adjustment.
And this guy here, number 80, probably does it as well as anybody who's ever played this game. He's given Larry Brazil a real rough time here. Had Krieg had 1 more second, of course, he would have hit number 80 for a touchdown, but he was working the entire time. That is Chick Harris, the backfield coach of the Seattle Seahawks. He is not crazy, folks. He's just giving hand signals to the quarterback. Look at that. It's a new dance.
Seattle 24, the Browns 6. And now Krieg wants to call a timeout and see if he can get something straightened out with the powers that are on the far sideline. So while Krieg takes a break, we'll leave you. Has been knocked twice and the ball has popped loose. Take a look at that average field position at the start of drive. Is that saying something? Both of Bernie Kosar's fumbles resulted in Krieg to Darrell Turner touchdowns. Kevin Mack fumbled a moment ago. Will the Seahawks score again? From the shotgun. Krieg lets it go.
Touchdown, Steve Largent.
Gets excellent time here to really spot his primary receiver, and he doesn't want to go there. Now he gets outside of containment. There's nobody there to contain. Now 22, Felix Wright doesn't know whether to come up or to go back, and of course Krieg lobs the ball overhand for Dixon's head. Touchdown for Steve Largent. That is 4 touchdown passes for Dave Krieg today.
Johnson whistles it to the uprights. And the clock is stopped once more. 14:41 to play in the ball game. Seattle, oh, they're putting them away. What's interesting about that helmet you have, Reggie, is that it's actually pumped up with like a needle that you fill up a basketball or football with. We're set to go. 14:41 to play in the ball game. Johnson, it's a short kick at the 11-yard line. It is Herman Fontenot. He brings it across the 21 near the 22 where the rookie out of LSU is decked.
And this is a dreadful point in the football game for an offensive line. You're down 31-6. The opposition knows you have to pass the football, and to make matters worse, you're going against truly one of the outstanding pass rushing lines in pro football, and Jacob Green, Jeff Bryant, Randy Edwards, and Joe Nash. It should be a very, very tough 14 minutes left for Bernie Kosar and the Cleveland Browns.
On first down, it's complete. Fred Banks, the rookie out of Liberty University, at the 33-yard line.
And I guess if you have those odds against you and you're an offensive lineman, this is the way to do it. You hold the guy. You just don't let him go in there. As Ricky Bolden, number 77, on his opposite number, Jeff Bryant keeps him away. He said, hey, I didn't do it.
Well, that is proof positive. As some players say, you could call holding on every play in a football game. Here's the Oz, the Wizard. The pass complete to Herman Fontenot. The ball is loose. Who's got the football?
Seahawks are pointing their way.
Ozzie Newsome recovered the loose ball. Who are you going to give it to, Fred Silva? Kosar said, we got it. We got it.
Well, tell us something, Fred.
It's a complete pass. Fontenot down, apparently, before the ball popped loose at the 36-yard line. The ball nosing ahead near the 37. So it will be second down and 8 from the 37 with 13:16 to play.
Well, the Browns ought to get their pass substitutions in here now. Let's take a look at the quick screen pass to Fontenot. Right there, he gets rid of the ball. The ball is kicked by a Seahawk.
Byner tries the left side behind Liljum. Oh, is he stacked up? Is the ball loose once more?
The Browns are still exhibiting some feistiness and some fight here. Watch Bolden, 77, staying with his man, blocking, staying on Jeff Bryant. Never say die.
Third down and 6 down from the 39. Seattle 31, the Browns 6 with 12:35 to play the ball game. From the shotgun, Kosar. Pressure, pressure. He fumbles the ball. The Browns with 4 fumbles today. Number 19 has 3 of them.
And he's really been getting hit from the blind side. He hasn't seen a lot of the hits that he has taken today. And that's what happens when you get down 31-6. You have to throw the football. The defense knows it. They're not worrying about the run. They're just strictly coming on the pass rush. Bernie already appears to have some stitches under his chin. They better protect this young fella if they want him around, because the Seahawks are having no mercy.
From the 21-yard line. That's Hughes. Look at this. Still on his feet to the 12. Hughes was spun around not once, but twice. How in the world did he stay on his feet?
Sheer determination. Going to the right of your screen. David Hughes gets hit by Clay Matthews right there. Don Rogers gives him a shot. Those are 2 pretty good tacklers that don't bring him down. And finally, I think he just stumbles down.
That is an exceptional run. You won't find many better. Second down and 2 down from the 13. Here's Hughes to the right side. This time he coughs it up. And I believe the Browns have covered it, and they have. The Browns have the football at their own 1-yard line.
Somebody ought to check those Gatorade cups, because this is turning into a very sloppy game. There's no execution. The players aren't concentrating. And there's no continuity or conciseness to this football game at this point in time at all. Once again, it's Hughes carrying the football again. Comes through a big hole. The tackle was made there by Bob Golick.
Boy, this crowd has come alive. The 12th man that they affectionately refer to here at the Kingdome. The ball spotted about 6 inches from the goal line.
Good place just to throw the bomb, Phil. Just to let it go. This is the best place on the field to throw the deep pass.
You're right on it, Reggie. Brian Brennan, it is almost intercepted. What great defense by Terry Taylor. What jumping ability by Taylor.
One day this man will throw a lot of these, and he will throw them successfully. He is just a mad bomber type. He'll never, in my opinion, maybe until he's been in the league a little while, be a high percentage passer, but he's going to have that flair to hit the deep ball, and he thought he had that one right there. Good play at the last moment by Terry Taylor.
Second down and 10 with 11:23 to play in the ball game. Seattle 31 to Browns 6. Byner through the right side, not much, maybe to the 4. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Seattle Seahawks and the National Football League is prohibited. Third down and 7.
I'm not saying that the Browns won't eventually win the AFC Central Division, but the sacrifices they're making, having to play Kosar at this point, and the experience that he is getting is invaluable for his maturation process.
Kosar looking left, scrambles out of the end zone, puts it up for grabs. It is caught. Travis Tucker, the rookie out of Southern Connecticut State, on the catch. Keith Butler knocks him down.
Under duress, you're beginning to see some of the qualities that make Bernie Kosar an outstanding individual and a player who has unlimited resourcefulness. He knew that he was in the end zone that time, stepped out of the end zone to throw the football and got it away.
Bernie Kosar has another setback into the ball game, and he is lining up right behind Earnest Byner. It is Curtis Dickey. Dickey has the ball. He turns the corner. One of the few times today a Browns running back has been able to turn a corner on the Seattle defense.
His career stats on Curtis Dickey, 3,490 yards. Look at that number he's wearing, Phil. I haven't seen that in a while. Since I wore it.
I thought they retired that number. Or you just stole your jerseys. Is that what it was?
No, the Browns have a policy, in all seriousness, of not retiring jersey numbers anymore.
That's correct.
Not that they would have retired mine anyway.
Second down and 5. Kosar play action. Now steps up. Has all the time in the world. Byner's got it. Still on his feet at the 28-yard line and out of bounds. That'll be a first down for Cleveland. Terry Taylor chases him out.
Earnest Byner is the kind of guy that if I had to walk down some dark alley at night, I'd want him with me. He is a warrior. He never quits, and he is combatant, and he doesn't give up. He's just an excellent player, and he's looking for a 1,000-yard rushing season. And if Byner and Mack should rush for 1,000 yards apiece, it would be the first time the Browns had a tandem to do so, and the first time since Byner and Harris did it for Pittsburgh in 1976.
Here's Dickey. Not much. And again, that is the tremendous lateral pursuit of this Seahawk linebacking core. Michael Jackson that time on the stop.
Well, Michael Jackson can not only hit with the best, but he also does a pretty good job of singing. They have an outstanding video that's presently being sold in the record stores in the Seattle area. Watch 33, Curtis Dickey on the left side, coming out of nowhere. On the right side will be number 55, Michael Jackson, and I don't mean the singer.
Dickey has come out of the game. 3 wide receivers now for Cleveland on 2nd down and 9. The give is to Byner, and he crosses the 33. You know, when Dickey was in the ball game a moment ago, you had Curtis, Cody Rison, and Jacob Green, all in their 6th year out of Texas A&M.
It was a fine football team that they had when all of those fellows were there, consistently atop the national rankings of the NCAA. It hasn't gone well for Curtis recently. I talked to him before the ball game, and he says he'll be a receiver, running back, or anything the Cleveland Browns wants him to be. He just wants to play.
3rd and 5. Kosar has gone all the way, and he's going for it all. Overthrows Brennan inside the 20-yard line. It'll be a punting situation for the Browns.
See, that's where they mess Clarence Weathers. One-on-one situation on a deep ball like that, they would have the big speed from Weathers to run under that. Brennan, who is an excellent football player and a fellow who catches the ball well, just doesn't have that second gear that Weathers has.
Flags are flying. The punt is almost blocked. Caught at the 28. Scansey is tackled at the 35. 37-yard punt, a 6-yard return for Scansey. But keep in mind, there is a flag down at the 32-yard line. Illegal procedure against Cleveland. You can bet Seattle will decline the penalty and take the ball at the 34-yard line.
Kicking team offense, too many men on the field, decline, be 1st down.
So Seattle will take the ball at their own 34-yard line with 7 minutes and 34 seconds to play. What a day it has been for that man. But while we have a moment, all right, we'll be back. For Dave Krieg, it has certainly been a Hall of Fame kind of an afternoon. A Hall of Fame kind of an afternoon. 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Darrell Turner, 1 to Dan Ross, and 1 to Steve Largent. That is Randall Morris through the left side. He is still on his feet and knocked down finally at the 37-yard line. Clock running with 7:24 to play in the ball game. I want to take a moment to thank our producer George Finkel and our director Harry Coyle, 2 of the very finest in all of television sports, and we are so thankful to have him on our team. Gentlemen, we thank you for a job well done, and our entire crew here in Seattle today.
We have an update on Clarence Weathers, and apparently he did not get out of it so easily. He has a neck sprain and a shoulder separation, and a shoulder separation is one of the worst injuries for particularly players that catch the football.
2nd down and 6 with 6:50 to play in the game. Rick Harros, 50-year out of Utah State. Near the 40-yard line, Bob Golick on the stop. They are now late in the 3rd period at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Broncos and the Raiders still deadlocked at 14. Broncos scored the first 14 points of the game. The Raiders the last 14. In Houston, 3rd period just underway. The Giants leading the Oilers 35-14. And Minnesota on top of Tampa Bay at the Metrodome 19-7 in the 3rd period. 3rd down and 4 from the 40. Out of the shotgun, Craig looking right. Up and over, looking for Darrell Turner. It is caught, and he drops the ball. Oh, that is what Seahawk fans have seen all year long, and they don't much care for it. But keep in mind, he has 2 big touchdown catches also today.
Watch the long striding acceleration from number 81 on the left side. Watch how he pulls away from the defender. That's that second gear. That's that acceleration we talk about having when you're going deep like that, and Turner has it. And what a big future he has if he learns to concentrate a little bit more on passes like that.
So instead of a first down or possibly a touchdown, Dave Finzer, his fourth punt of the afternoon. It's a good one. Brian Brennan, a fair catch at the 20. A 40-yard punt. And Kosar will come back out. And the question one begins to ask himself, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, is why not Paul McDonald?
Well, that's a question that many have asked the Cleveland Browns, and you have to look at the future that the Browns feel they have with Kosar, what's been invested in him, and you keep saying that he hasn't had the opportunity to play. Well, they're giving him the opportunity to play and get that on-the-job training.
First down and 10. Kosar to the Wizard of Oz, out across the 30-yard line and down there.
And the Browns have a year's experience with Paul McDonald at quarterback in 1984, and they feel that he had every opportunity to lead the football team, and he was 5-11. So I think that's really your answer.
At the 31-yard line, I want to remind you, next Saturday, join NBC Sports as we continue our coverage of the NFL season. Most of you will see John Elway take on the Kansas City Chiefs at Mile High Stadium. It all begins next Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with NFL 85 and Bob Costas. Incidentally, that NFL 85 show is a live studio show. Ozzie Newsome, almost a beauty. A one-hand grab at the 32 that bounces away. Second down and 10. Now from the 31.
That's Richard Mann, the receivers coach, with the headset on and the brown jacket, sending in Fred Banks, number 83, with a play. He signals plays into Bernie Kosar.
Reggie, while we have talked about the Seattle Seahawks total domination of the Browns today, this is certainly not a funeral dirge for the Browns, because the worst they can do is come out of this thing in a tie for first place in the Central Division. There is still a lot of life in this Browns ball club. Kosar scrambling right, unloads. Byner's got it. He's across the 45-yard line and finally stopped at the 47.
The Browns, because of the nature of the Central Division this year, are assured of leaving here still in first place, probably, of course, with Cincinnati, and quite possibly with Pittsburgh as they play later on this evening against San Diego. So the worst that can be done is still be in first place, and they are entertaining Houston a week from today at Cleveland, a team that they beat already this year, 20-7, I think the score was.
And then the Browns close out the 85 campaign against the New York Jets. Kosar from the shotgun on 1st and 10. He's in big trouble. And down he goes again. 6th sack of the afternoon for this Hawks defensive unit. They now, Reggie, have 54 sacks on the year.
They established their own team record a year ago with 55 sacks, and they're going to break that, obviously, having had 54 at this point.
And as you look at scores, there's the big surprise here in Week 14. St. Louis over New Orleans by a bunch. Kansas City knocked off Atlanta by 18. The game that everybody here in the AFC West is looking at is Denver and the Raiders. And there's just over a minute left at Mile High. They are deadlocked at 14. Kosar, crossing pattern. The pass intended for Fred Banks. He was looking for a flag. Dave Brown, with airtight coverage, no flags will go.
The Seahawks have been so thoroughly dominant defensively in pressuring and covering, and you have to wonder how good they really are, because they've accomplished all that they've done today without Kenny Easley. Kenny Easley, who was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1984, sprained his ankle a week ago and probably will be ready a week from today.
On 3rd and 14 with 3 minutes and 48 seconds to play. Byner, little inside handoff. He's into Seattle territory at the 45. Now you talk about this Seahawk opportunistic defense. Opponents have now coughed the ball up against Seattle 42 times. The Seahawks offense has come onto the field and run up 128 points on those 42 turnovers.
And if you're looking for a time to get hot for the Seahawks, it's right now. Dave Krieg seems to be breaking out of the lethargy that has plagued him early on, having a good game, then a bad game, and a good game, and a bad game.
In motion is Brennan on 4th down and 3. Kosar will roll right. He's going for it all.
This guy can run.
Young, touchdown Browns. 45 yards to the 3rd-year wideout from Mississippi State, Glenn Young.
Given the covers that the Seahawks have been playing out there, that one-on-one, they've had 8 and 9 men around the line of scrimmage. They've been covering that outside receiver with 1 man. Kosar on a couple of occasions has attempted to go deep, but he had Brennan, who is more of the possession receiver, running the pattern. This time the Browns brass from upstairs realized, hey, get a faster receiver out there and you've got a touchdown. That's exactly what they did. They put Glenn Young, who has tremendous speed, on the outside, and you saw him run away from Terry Taylor.
For Glenn Young, that is only his 2nd touchdown of his NFL career. His 1st this year. Barr tacks on the point after. And with 2:54 to play in this ball game, the Browns with their 1st touchdown of the afternoon. They now trail the Seahawks 31-13.
And for Kosar, that's the picture that I've been talking about. Kosar has to see more pictures. He has to see more defenses and see more situations and game conditions. Now look at the throw. No one ever said he couldn't do this, and he really throws the ball deep. That's his forte, throwing the deep pass. He can really put that pass there. There's Glenn Young, who made the catch.
Is the Raiders and the Broncos are now in overtime, tied at 14. Recall their first meeting just a couple of weeks ago at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. That game also went into overtime, won by the Broncos. Check that, one by the Raiders.
The Browns have 2 kinds of onside kick arrangements, one a squib kick and one a little kick in the air, in which they try to recover the ball in the air. Let's see if Barr uses it.
It was touched at the 42-yard line. It did not go 10 yards. Hold everything. One of the Browns touched it before the ball traveled 10 yards. And as we told you a moment ago, that game at Mile High Stadium is now in overtime. 2:49 to play on this one here at the Kingdome in Seattle, where the Seahawks, they have been down the hall.
Ball illegally touched by the kicking team before it went 10 yards. Be a re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
It is number 30, Chris Rockins, 37. He's going through this so fast, he's a blur, but it is Rockins. You cannot touch the ball. If you're the kicking team, you cannot touch the ball before it has traveled 10 yards. And if you do so, with the rules this year, the receiving team has the option of whether they want you to kick the ball or not. And of course, in this situation, they want them to kick the ball again.
Somebody on an airplane recently, Reggie, asked me on an onside kick why kickers don't kick it up in the air more, just a little like a jump ball, and have one of your own players run underneath it to try and tip it. And there's really a very simple answer for that.
You can fair catch.
You can fair catch it if you're in opposition.
There's a delicate balance there when you do it that way. But the Browns did that a couple of weeks ago and recovered it. There it is right there.
Barr got too much of it. It is caught at the 37-yard line and taken down by Eric Lane. Again, a flag is down at the 30-yard line. Incidentally, at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos have won the toss. They will receive from the Raiders. Broncos have won the toss. They will receive from the Raiders. Now the Browns were offside on that second kick. The Hawks declined it. They will take possession at their own 38-yard line. Gail Gilbert is on the quarterback, the rookie out of California. What an afternoon it has been for number 17, Dave Krieg. Krieg finishes today 24 of 34, 268 yards and 4 touches. Randall Morris through the left side across the 42. As Seattle will go to 8-6 in just 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
You have to wonder also how much the Browns missed Frank Minifield today, who couldn't play because of that pulled muscle. Steve Largent and Darrell Turner having big days, and that doesn't normally happen with the cornerbacks of the Cleveland Browns. Both Dixon and Minifield are outstanding performers and usually are capable of shutting down receivers.
Reggie, today's victory by the Seattle Seahawks keeps their 2-2 streak alive. They got the season off with 2 victories and then dropped their next 2 games, won their next 2, dropped their last 2. So we'll see if that trend can continue. We'll be back. Green light on Punky Brewster, then on Silver Spoons. What's Grandfather Stratton really like? Rick and Edward think they know the answer, but they could be in for a big surprise. And on Amazing Stories, Walter Poindexter's television is about to come to life. Is it a dream come true? And then an escaped convict, a sheltered housewife, and a bizarre encounter that will challenge your wildest beliefs on Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Followed by the NBC world premiere movie starring Mary Crosby and Richard Thomas, caught on an eerie adventure. Is it reality or a bizarre illusion? And the NBC Sunday night movie, Final Jeopardy. All of that tonight on NBC. Two minutes remaining in this ball game. There is the quarter-by-quarter breakdown. As you see, Seattle, tremendous balance throughout this ball game, and they have been aided greatly by 4 Cleveland fumbles, 3 by Bernie Kosar. Second down and 6. The give through the right side. That is Rick Barros.
You take a look at the passing game, Phil, and the Seattle wide receivers have caught 11 passes and 4 touchdowns. The Cleveland receivers have caught 8 passes and 1 touchdown.
The clock stops with 1 minute and 52 seconds to play at the Dome. It's Seattle by Gail Gilbert at quarterback. Gives the ball to Randall Morris. He turns the corner and he is chased out of bounds by Felix Wright. Now Seattle will head for the Coliseum in Los Angeles a week from today on the wings of a 2-game winning streak, Reggie. And I tell you, the Hawks have handled the Raiders in the past.
They really have, and the last 2 weeks, the Seahawks have played very effectively offensively, defensively. They've put together special teams performances that are first rate, and they have to begin to wonder now what happened earlier. Why didn't we do, or why couldn't we play like this before? And I think they're just getting the leadership, and from key people like Dave Krieg having the kind of game he's having today, that sort of inspires everybody up and down the roster.
A first down at the 49. Perros starts left, now comes back to the right side. Does not find much because the Browns stay at home defensively. And now Cleveland's going to call a timeout with 1:33 to play in the game, down 31-13. Second down and 9 from the midfield stripe with 1:39 to play. Here comes Morris through the left side again. He turns it upfield. He's into the Browns secondary and wrestled down there.
Well, for Cleveland, they never were in the game, really. They didn't have the services of Gary Danielson. He didn't make that inspirational appearance that he's been making over the last couple of weeks, inspiring this football team to win games maybe they shouldn't have won. And he put it all on the shoulders of number 19, Bernie Kosar, the young man who's trying to learn as he earns. And he is earning.
Oh, is he earning? And he had better be learning. A day long, he went out, tried to loosen up, didn't throw a pass, simply told Marty Schottenheimer, Marty, I can't go, partner. And Kosar went all the way. Randall Morris through the left side, close to the first down. I believe he made it. And now they'll stop the clock and bring out the chains with 1:18 to play.
Don't forget, Cleveland's road will be that much more difficult to travel now that they obviously will lose Clarence Weathers for the season.
Cincinnati victorious today. Cleveland losing this afternoon. That will create a tie with the Bengals and the Browns. Keep in mind the Pittsburgh Steelers play later tonight in San Diego. That game coming on 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Incidentally, when the Browns board their charter out of Seattle tonight, they've worked up a radio deal where their airplane charter back to Cleveland will pick up that Steelers San Diego Chargers game.
I'm sure the players would like to listen to that game, but I don't think that game is that much of a factor now since Cincinnati handled Dallas so easily. I think there were many who thought that Dallas would defeat Cincinnati, but the Bengals are the team now that are probably back in the driver's seat.
First and 10 from the 41 with 52 seconds to play. Neil Gilbert, long count. Peros has the ball again. They're going to run around the left side, and he finds running room at the 36-yard line. Well, for Dave Krieg, the question is, which Dave Krieg will surface next Sunday? Oh, we've got a full-scale one going on now.
This is going to cost some players some money.
Another flag is up in the air. Meanwhile, the football's all the way down at the 18-yard line. Nobody paid any attention.
While this is going on, Phil, let's reiterate one more time that if Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati all won the rest of the way and had tie at 9 and 7, Cincinnati would win the AFC Central Division by virtue of having the best win-loss tie percentage in games played within the division.
There's what you're talking about right there. You can almost put a 7 up in the Cleveland column right now. Pittsburgh at 6 and 7 goes later tonight. Could be a three-way tie late this evening in the AFC Central Division. Now Fred Silva trying to sort things out. Let's listen to Freddie.
Offense number 85. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, ejected. 15 yards.
Dan Ross.
A nice guy like Dan Ross.
Well, it's academic at this point. Reggie, as an offensive player, what does a setback such as this do to your psyche if you remember this Cleveland Brown team?
Well, I think it bothers you, but you know, you have to remember that this is a team that's still growing, still learning a lot about themselves, and there are some things that will develop in this football game that'll have much more of an impact on this team than losing here today, because they know they're still in the football race in the AFC Central Division, but losing a player like Weathers has to bother them.
Well, they are certainly more in the race in the AFC Central than the Seahawks in a winning effort to JR in the AFC Western Division.
Good point.
So that's it. That'll be the final play of this ball game. It was a game, as Reggie Rucker said early in the ball game, that the Browns simply did not seem to be in emotionally, and they never got untracked.
Well, I think that, you know, when you're playing against Chuck Knox, and he is a very, very astute coach and goes after young quarterbacks, and he did that today.
Well, let's go to Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen in Denver. The overtime game between the Broncos and the Raiders. The final here, Seattle 31, Cleveland 13.